Hello everyone, my name is TamilaChkaduas. I'm a student of the Fuel Cell University, and today I would like to make a small presentation about the big data, and which is part of the course Enterprise Data Management Assignment 1.3. Let's move to the slide number 1, and the first question comes: what is big data? In my imagination, the big data is, I would say, hurricane of information or tsunami of the information, and because it gathers all kind of information and space it and place that in a special warehouse where it belongs. But the question is, why we need the big data? Big data offers benefit to many industries such as healthcare, finance, retail, insurance, and a lot more. As I've mentioned, it gathers information from many different sources, which could be internal and external. It gives ability to the organizations to find new opportunities and improve their weaknesses. Big data could be structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. It could be presented in the way of your thinking and analyzing, such as charts, visualization, graphs, and reports and all others. It's a massive volume of some kind of wave, which is collecting all kind of information and gets bigger and bigger, bigger and larger. Big data is gathering large number of use cases such as search ranking, ad tracking, CAT scan comparison, financial account fraud detection, and a lot more. In my point of view, filtering all this information is one of the challenge for the organization and one of the difficult facts. What could create overload and noise? More information is collected, more filtering needs to be done in order to create customer satisfaction. Big data originally is associated with the four concepts such as volume, variety, velocity, and value. Let's move to the first one. The volume, it makes data the bigger and bigger. It's about the quantities of data that reaches incomprehensible properties. The next one is variety, and that shows how heterogeneously your data structures. More information here is digitized, such as scans, captured pictures, and a lot more. The third one is veracity, as mentioned, which I would say presents trustworthiness of data. And the last one is velocity. It's measure how fast the data is coming. Let's move to the next question, which is we had to present the data warehouse from our insights. And after research, I did some presentation here, as you say, and the first layer I have over here is in a yellow. It's a data store, and that's the place where all the data is stored in multiple formats. It could be Excel or all other ones. The next one here, we have an extract. Through this process, this is the stage where the data is clean with no big transformation. And all this extracted data transferred to the next station, which is data staging area. Data staging area is divided into two parts where the data gets cleaning and ordering. And this is the most of the timing staging where the data is collected, because that's the part where it needs a lot of work needs to be done. After all of that, the cleaned data is moved to the presentation area. This is the place where all collected and cleaned data is integrated. And the last one, what I would say is that all data could be presented in any order, such as charts, tables, graphs, reports, and so on. Let's move to the next section, which is what do we think about the big best practices in the big data for the company. I have separated several of them, and let's start with the first one. First one is very important to understand business requirements. It's a management responsibility to analyze which project has to be used business analytics to have increased income. For example, collecting unnecessary information for data might cause problems. The second one I have is identify the types of data. And which would be, that's the section which gives you the data which would be launching in the organization, and it has to be identified because data is gathering from various sources, all kind of information, and it could be disorganized. Next one is communication between stakeholders and ITs. I would say that's one of the major and best practices too, because this is very important in case there are some changes or goals are changed, that it has to be delivered to the IT. The fourth one I have is analyze and determine if there is any additional information needs for a particular project and how it could be possible to get. The first one is technology use, because the technology use is, we have to be qualified that technology, whatever we're using, the requirements of the specific project. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem if you use another technology which is not necessary for the particular specific project. The sixth one is to be aware of about how any changes in the data system. Yes. And you should, in a data system, that's very important because usually the data gives you a signal and you have to be alarmed to find out what that signal means. Otherwise, everything could be destroyed. It's possible that all the work you've done might be destroyed in one day. And the seventh one, and I would say everything has to be start with a small project. And this has to be the project which doesn't affect, in case something happens wrong in that do this process, it won't affect the organization. Let's move to the next one. How do you enforce data governance, data integrity in a big data for this company? Data governance usually is formed in 4 sections, such as availability, applicability, integrity, and security. This is the process. And this process is organized by the stakeholders to ensure that all data is well secured and managed. In this process, there is a link between business and IT. This is the process of monitoring and control, and also data governance gives ability to employees to access their needs of roles and responsibility. In other words, the data government helps to properly and efficiently manage all the organization information. What about the data integrity? This is one of the main aspects of the information security. Through this process, you are storing data in the database or in the data warehouse. Therefore, all characteristics such as business rules, relations, dates, definitions must be correct for ensure the data is complete. It must be free from corruption and unauthorized disclosure to launch any number with accuracy. When data integrity is presented in the database table, all the information must be confirmed to corresponding rule. So, as I mentioned, data integrity is accuracy and consistency of the stored data. Slide number 6, how can Kimball dimensional modeling be used for the company's data warehouse? Dimensional modeling is the most accepted as a technique for analytic data, which has 2 concepts. First one, deliver data which would be understandable for the organization, and the second one, to be delivered fast query. First of all, to launch dimensional modeling, organization staff must be sure it needs of business and head points of sources of data. There are 4 steps to use dimensional model. Select business process, declare the grain, identify the dimensions, and identify the facts. The first one, select the business process. This is activity which is ruled by the organization. Through this process, you will identify the main goal of the organization. The second one, declare the grain. It's the main step in dimensional design. The grain shows what single table represents. It's strongly recommended to be concentrated on the atomic grained data. Also, different grains must not be mixed in the same table. The third one, identify the dimensions. It shows who, what, where, when, why, and how all the process works. Dimension tables accommodate explosive elements which are used by BI applications for filtering and grouping the facts. Dimensional tables consist entry points and descriptive labels. And the last one is identify the facts. It's a measurement from the business process and are numeric. A single fact table row has one-to-one relationship to the measurement event. Each dimension table has a single key column table. These tables are wide, flat, and low cardinally text attributes, which are target of constraints and grouping specification from the queries and BI application. So my presentation has been ended, and also I would like to add that here are the references which was being used by me during the searching, and based on these references I made a small presentation which I presented today. Thank you very much.